Okay. So the agenda we're following is, right here. I'll just share a few things about me and my military career. We'll go into the Bronco Strong story, and we'll go to, share the inspiration for writing the Bronco Strong story. And then we'll go a timeline, and I'm going to share 6 things you can do to avoid my personal book marketing mistakes. Yeah. So I hope you didn't get yourself all out of whack. So, Carrie, your question, when was the book published? The Bronco Strong book was published in 2016. Great question, by the way. So this is, just a little bit about me. I served 26 years in the Army. Started out as a private. Went on to Southern Mississippi, University of Southern Mississippi, Homecoming Queen, commissioned as a second lieutenant. I deployed on 3 separate occasions to combat environments. The first was I was just in as a second lieutenant doing Operation Desert Storm. Went to Saudi Arabia. That's a picture of me with my battalion commander, Tom Owens, who he retired as a 06. And later I followed in his footsteps. The second deployment was to Qatar. This was after the attack on the Twin Towers and the Pentagon. The picture is depicting a homecoming celebration. My family sprung on me when I returned from that deployment. And then the third deployment is my 14-month deployment to Iraq when I served as a battalion commander. Now, this is the topic of the book, so that's why I wanted to show you this, give you some context. And then the last picture is me as a colonel in 2015 when I retired. So the reasons I retired from the military, people often ask that question, is because I'm Ryan's mom, and as long as that little fellow was alive, all he had known was moving every 1 or 2 years. And so I thought it was his time. And oh, by the way, it was my time also. So that was my reason to retire. So I want you just to share below if you are a military veteran or if you know some military veterans. Let's type in 1, the number 1 if you are a military veteran, and 2 if you yourself, if you know some military veterans. I'll give you a few minutes to do that. Okay. And so we'll just move on. So I'm a founder and CEO of the Better You Project. It's a project for women leaders. Also the creator of the Learn Achievement model. And, as we're going to discuss today, I'm the author of Bronco Strong, a memoir of the last deployed personnel services battalion. And the second book is coming out, will be released in 2019. I'll be sure to keep you informed about that. And I see, Carrie, you are number 2. You know some military veterans. Thank you for responding. So let's go into the Bronco Strong story. And this is going to help you as you are crafting your own story. So for me, what I was doing as an author was sharing the nuances of support troops. Most of the time we hear about, big chest men like Rambo, right? Diving on grenades, saving their buddies. Well, that's not my story, right? So I wanted to just make sure I share the significant contributions my troops, my teammates, the sacrifices they made during that particular combat environment. And so from what I could tell, as far as I know, there's not another book about military human resources soldiers anywhere, the ones that serve on the battlefield. It's about a whole bunch of other military specialties. So that's the other reason I wanted to make sure I captured what we did. And so you might have different inspirations for writing your book, but you need to know what they are. So for us, the 15th Personnel Services Battalion, we deployed from Fort Hood, Texas in October 2006 and returned in January 2008, where it supported 96,000 soldiers, airmen, Marines, and civilians. The deployment was the unit's second to the same location. They had previously deployed in 2004. And if you recall, in 2003, I was in Qatar, right? And just coming back from my own deployment when they were going to this one. So Task Force Bronco consisted of 9 command teams, meaning, they had a captain and a first sergeant. So we did human resources type things like get the mail and personnel accountability. This also was when the Army was transitioning from a division-centric focus to a brigade-centric focus. So really what we're talking about is division. We're talking like 20,000 plus troops in brigade, more like 5,000 or 6,000 troops. So, and the impact for my community, the human resources community, was that the type of unit I served in as a battalion commander in Iraq, they were being deactivated while we were deployed. So that was high adventure. So the my particular unit, the 15th Personnel Services Battalion, was the last unit of that type in the wartime theater. That's why we named it that. Bronco Strong, the last Personnel Services Battalion. Memoir, right? So these were our wartime functions, and we had 7 soldiers to earn Purple Hearts, and 39 earned combat action badges. 2 were killed after 12 months in theater, and then 1 lost her life. So this was a tumultuous experience. So share in the comments below, type yes if you understand the significance of Purple Heart recipients. And not necessarily something that soldiers actually want to earn, or, it's not anything anybody is buying for, right? So if you understand the significance, just type yes into the comments. All right, we're going to keep it moving. So along with all the other significant activities that took place during this deployment, the book actually shares the routineness of what soldiers do in the theater, and also honors the soldiers who made significant contributions. Oh, and you said, Carrie said wounded. Okay. Wounded in theater. Oh, okay. Actually, Carrie, for Purple Heart recipients, either wounded or killed in theater. So thank you for that comment. So these are Sergeant Lillian Clemens and Sergeant First Class John J. Tobiason, both perished during this deployment. And so for me, it was a compulsion, right, for me to write the story and to share their significant contributions, as well as our soldier who lost her left foot. When we deployed, my Sergeant Major and I deployed, she met us on the deployment field, right? And that's her in a wheelchair. She wanted to be there to support us. As she said, we had supported her throughout her recovery up to that point. And as an aside, as we're going to move into the 6 points here in a few moments. But my mom was an amputee also, and my mom was on the other side of the field. And my mom and Sergeant First Class Henry, now name's Henry, was Hilliard at that time. But my mom was able to provide some feedback and support to my soldier. That moment, I will never forget that. And of course, this was my son. He was 14 months when I left the little guy for 14 months. And that was him as he was waiting for me to come off of the parade field. So the inspiration for writing the Bronco Strong story, really the inspiration comes from the guy in the middle is my command sergeant major. We were battle buddies, right? And the guy on the end was my executive officer. And that's he and I up under the Iraqi sabers. But my sergeant major, Tim Livingood, died in Afghanistan February 2015 after he had retired from the Army honorably, right? And so I was at his funeral, as many of us went to his funeral services, and we heard his 2 sons, handsome, talented sons, stand and read a story from their father, from Tim Livingood. He was a contractor at that time. He was actually preparing to return to the States from Afghanistan when his heart failed him. But he had written a letter to his son, one of the 2 sons, and he was reading, and it was basically the things that we were going to do when I get there, right? I'll be at your rugby game. I want to reconnect. I love you. I'm proud of you. All those things. And so at the same time, as we're sitting here at this funeral service and the sons are reading the story, and I'm thinking about my own son at that time. He was maybe about 8, I think, at that time. And he was running around the house with Nerf guns. Pew, 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 pew. And I was like, oh, no, baby, that's not what Mom does. That's not what I did. So I realized that they did not know what their father did while he was in the Army. They loved him and respected him as a man, as a father, but they did not know. So that was the inspiration for writing the Bronco Strong story. If you have any inspirations or aspirations for writing your story, I'd love, love, love to know your inspiration for writing stories. So go ahead and share that if you'd like. So the timeline for the Bronco Strong story was we deployed in October 2006, and we returned in January 2008 to Fort Hood, Texas. The Army had deactivated my unit. It was April 15th, 2008. And the interesting thing was from 2008 to now, there's not been a period, it's not been a 2-week period where I have not heard from one of the soldiers from that unit. Matter of fact, I've just been asked to host a promotion ceremony from one of them who was then a private who had only been in the Army for a few months doing that deployment. My God, now she's going to be a CW3 and she's asked me to host her promotion ceremony. Sergeant Major Tim Littlewood passed away in February 2015. I retired in September of 15. And I reached out to some of the former PSB members about their stories. I interviewed them. And then with the help of coaches and editors and some close family friends, I self-published the book in September of 2016. And then guess what? After I published it, I was like, that's a surprise face. Like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do now? How do I market this thing? Nobody's buying it. That's because they didn't know anything about it. So I want to just share with you 6 things you can do to avoid my book marketing mistakes. And I must tell you that I love sharing the Bronco Strong story. So mistake number 1 to avoid is, don't assume that your family and friends want to purchase your book. Don't even assume that they want to read it. Right? So go ahead and get yourself a street team or a launch team. Establish some presence on Goodreads. That's what people who like to read books, that's where they hang out, right? I have a website, BroncoStrongBook.com, and also, of course, I'm on Amazon, and the book is available all places online that you purchase books, Walmart, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, all those places. So you can read it in, you can receive your own personal copy. So make sure that you go where book lovers are, the people who want to read not just books, but your type of story, right? A lot of people, purchase a book because they, love and respect me. But guess what? It's not like they're not actually reading a book. So, that's number one mistake. And then I'm not sure if it's just me. I'm not the only one who's taking my family and friends for granted. If you do, just write that down in the comments, because that was pretty funny to me when I noticed that they were getting the books, but they really, didn't have any intent on reading it. It was not their story. It was not their type of read, right? And then, oh, by the way, paperback, people want to actually do audio, so make sure you have different formats for people to enjoy your book, right? And so the second mistake you might want to avoid is to assume that people who purchase the book know how to write a proper testimonial, or if they even know which platform to write one on. So what I did was I created just a quick little tutorial on how to write a solid book review, right? And I had pictures and everything, visuals in there for them. I just took the liberty to show them a way to write a solid book review, and it was very effective. With that, people actually started leaving more reviews. And so if you don't know, the way this thing works is the more reviews you have when people are thinking about your particular book, then they can, just like you and I, we go and look at reviews. So we want more of those. So make sure you avoid this mistake. And I'm just curious, have you ever written a testimonial? If so, type yes. Yes, I've written a testimonial. Might not have been for a book. It could be for a product or service or anything. That's just interesting. So we have to make sure that we ask for the testimonial and then, share with people how to do a proper one. We want to avoid not thinking that platforms matter, not understanding that you must have a platform. So that's the number 3 right there. Okay, so if you're interested in writing a book, then you want to make sure you focus on building a quality email list first. And you start with, a website. You have maybe an email provider and a landing page service to retain new readers. So for me, I use a platform, all-in-one platform called Kajabi, and I've entered the link right there. And then the third thing is you want to hustle. So for me, I don't think I would have launched a book without first having an email list. So now I am developing one, and so I think it's just crucial. So that's mistake number 3. I would love for you to avoid. So you just launch right away. So do you yourself have a platform? Oh, yeah, Carrie. So I'm going to go back to Carrie, and I see that Carrie says a couple purely. So, yeah, so as far as people taking family members for granted, thank you for that. So for a platform, and, you look at what a platform might mean to you, and it could be, it's anywhere where you are able to share your message consistently. And so that might be, websites. Some people have platforms on YouTube, they're on Instagram or Pinterest, or they're on Facebook. I would encourage you to have your own website, own your own property. It's like your own real estate, right? Because we know that Facebook and all these other social media platforms, they are the ones who can flick you off in a minute. So you want to make sure you have your own. So number 4, mistake to avoid is, don't really be, you don't have to be shy, right? So after my military service, after I retired, I was really concerned about being like too salesy or, just out there. And that's really a place of insecurity, not knowing what to expect, because of course in the Army, I knew what to expect every single day. So I want you to just make sure you have the right to promote. I mean, you worked hard for it, right? So just make sure you are speaking from a place of truth and, you have integrity. When you have people on your email list, that whole community, this is my take, and this is what I've come to understand is people usually fit into one of the following categories. They're either diehard fans and they love what you do, and really, they're going to work with you. They want to know, okay, so I got the book. Now what's next? That's what I kept hearing. What's next? Hey, can you come speak here? Oh, what about this? Can you sit on this panel? Oh, by the way, we're going to fly you out to Maryland to talk to our church group, or, whatever it might be. So those are diehard fans. And then you have casual fans who, these people, they enjoy your work, but, sometimes they got to be reminded of, what you do when you put something out. So it's really your job. It's on you to actually produce valuable content so that they really want to work with you or buy other things for you. So if it's just like, because you're cute, that's not going to work. And then you have the diehard fans, the casual fans, and then the never buyers. So for whatever reason, these people are not going to buy anything from you. They probably, join your email list because you had something free, or just because they might have been curious. So that's okay. Just have to know what category of people you have. And for me, I'm focused on creating quality content and valuable tools and techniques for women leaders. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for me some diehard fans, right? I'm looking for some goals friends. That's what I call them, like my gold digging friends. That's what the Better You Project is all about. First and foremost, we are goals friends. And so mistake number 5 is not having a long-term plan. The book launch itself is going to last for a week or two. It's not going to be that long. And then you really got to have a plan to promote, for the next few years. What's next? So you could create an email funnel to promote the book, which I did. I had an email funnel right now where you read the first chapter for free. And, when they joined and they receive emails, that kind of thing. You can also create an ad campaign on Amazon. I did that. I still have the ad running. And this puts the information, the book, in front of, different people who are interested, right? And then I run experiments. Like I just keep trying. Okay, that wouldn't work so well. Let me see now. Let me try something else. And that's okay. So bottom line is have a long-term plan. Because as I said, I wrote the book and then I was surprised. Like, I got to market it. so yeah, don't do that. And then the last mistake I want you to avoid is trying to do things alone, right? So my book really wouldn't have done as well if I didn't have, the people in my circle to help and support, provide feedback, and to say, hey, you might want to make sure you go to the INDE authors events, because guess what? That's where you're going to learn how to market and promote. And, so as opposed to sitting at home and trying to figure out how to do it, go out and talk to some people about it. So for me, you just have to make sure you get some good solid advice. So don't do it alone. You don't have to. All right. So now, who comes to mind when you need support? So if you would just, make sure that you know who they are and don't abuse them. But, you could go to them for feedback, bounce some things off of them. I see Carrie says the never buyers just need what you have to share. Sometimes, okay, they do need. And you don't have a platform yet. Oh, yeah, you're building one, though. I know you're building one, Carrie. You're building a platform. For me, what I've come to understand is that the Bronco Strong story resonates with military human resources troops. That's who the book is about. That's who it's for. So their family members are interested in it. We have moms and dads whose 18, 19, 20-year-olds come to them and say, hey, I want to join the Army. They're interested in it. We have people who have served years and years ago, the Korean era soldiers. They're really interested in Vietnam era. They're interested also. So you have to know who your story would resonate with, right? So I'm going to wrap this thing up, and I'm so excited really to come to you every Tuesday at noon. And particularly, I wanted to share these 6 things that you can avoid so that when you are marketing your books, I'm just going to put it out there and declare that you will share your story. Everybody has a story in them. And so I want to make sure that I share those things with you. But one thing I want to just invite you to as we wrap this up is our Q&A of my experience on the Oprah cruise. That is tomorrow night, Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Zoom. Because people keep asking me about the experience of the Oprah and the magazine 3 Girls Getaway. We did it at the end of January, so I'm willing to tell it all, right? And I just want to know, it was amazing. I'm just going to tell you that. So anyway, so you go to angelaodom.com/Oprah, sign up. I'll send you a link, and then I'll see you on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern time on the video chat, the online video chat service called Zoom. With that said, it's been my pleasure to talk to you today on Tuesday Talk Time with Angela. Enjoy the rest of your day, and then for me, I'll see you tomorrow, and then I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday for another Talk Time. Okay, you take care. And as always, I am rooting for you.